بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سبحان الله وبحمده. سبحان الله العظيم. الله أكبر. نسأل الله أن يفتح لكم أبواب نوره ويملأ قلوبكم سكينة ويرفع درجاتكم في الدنيا والآخرة. There is a moment in every believer's life, a moment where the world feels too heavy, the heart too tired, and the soul too silent. A moment when you tell yourself, maybe Allah no longer hears me. But what if I told you that very moment of despair could be the beginning of your greatest healing? My dear brothers and sisters, listen closely. Some of you are carrying wounds so deep they no longer bleed. Some of you cry every night, but find no peace in the morning. Some of you feel guilty because you can't even cry anymore. Wallahi, this video was sent to you for a reason. Tonight, you will discover how to cry to Allah so your pain becomes peace, how tears can lift you, purify you, transform you. You are on the power of tawakkul, a path where truth awakens the soul and brings the heart back to its creator. Before we continue, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment to show your gratitude to Allah. There are tears that the world was never meant to see. Tears that don't belong on a friend's shoulder or in a stranger's hands. Tears that Allah created to fall only when the room is dark, when the noise has faded, when the soul finally removes its armor and stands in front of its Lord exactly as it is, wounded, trembling, unfiltered. People can listen to your words, but only Allah can hear what is hiding behind them. People can see the expression on your face, but only Allah sees the storm behind your calm. Human hearts, no matter how loving, are limited. Some pains are simply too deep for them, too heavy to be carried by the fragile hands of creation. But Allah, He is Al-Latif, the one who knows even the pain you don't know how to describe. He is Al-Sami, the one who hears the breath you take before you cry. He is Al-Karib, the one who is closer to you than your own sorrow. This is why the deepest tears are meant for Him alone. The tears you hide during the day, the ones you swallow to avoid breaking, the ones that burn your chest before they reach your eyes, those are not weaknesses. Those are invitations. Invitations from Allah to return to Him the way the prophets returned. Quietly, sincerely, without explaining yourself to anyone but Him. Because there is a kind of crying that purifies. A kind of crying that softens the heart until it becomes a place where light can enter again. And that crying cannot be done in front of people. Not because they don't care, but because they cannot understand the language of a soul speaking to its creator. So when the world sleeps and your heart feels heavy, let your tears fall in the only place where nothing is lost, nothing is misunderstood, and nothing is judged, in front of the one who created tears and who heals with them. There is a kind of crying that empties you, and a kind that fills you. Many people cry until their eyes burn, until their chest tightens, until exhaustion pulls them into sleep. Yet they wake up carrying the exact same weight. Because their tears were real, but their surrender was not. They released their pain, but they did not release control. They cried from fear, not from faith. They cried for relief, but they did not hand their burden to the one who gives relief. Tears alone don't heal. Tears without tawakkul only drain the heart. But tears directed toward Allah, with trust, with surrender, with the quiet whisper of Ya Allah, I leave this in your hands. Those are the tears that cleanse the soul. Allah does not ask you to pretend to be strong. He asks you to stop pretending to carry what He never intended you to carry alone. Some people cry because life has overwhelmed them, but the believer cries because they know they have somewhere to return. Some tears are born from panic. Others are born from surrender. The first kind breaks you. The second kind rebuilds you. When your tears fall with tawakkul, something changes inside you. Even before your circumstances change, the heart loosens, the soul breathes, the heaviness softens, because you are no longer fighting life alone. You are trusting the one who wrote your story before you entered it. Remember, Allah does not respond to perfect dua. He responds to sincere surrender. You don't have to speak long, eloquent words. You only have to mean it when your trembling voice says, "Ya Allah, I can't carry this anymore. Take it from me." That is when crying becomes worship. That is when tears stop drowning you and start cleansing you. That is when emptiness turns into peace. Not because the problem disappeared, but because your heart finally found the one who can hold it. We live in a world that teaches you to hide your tears, to swallow your pain, to act strong even when your heart is collapsing. But Allah teaches the opposite. The most beloved people to Him, the prophets, cried more than anyone else. Not because they were fragile, but because their hearts were fully awake. When Prophet Yaqub as-Salam lost Yusuf, he didn't lose his dignity. He didn't lose his faith. His eyes turned white from weeping, not from despair, but from devotion. He didn't run to people. He didn't tell the world his sorrow. He said one timeless, trembling sentence: "I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah." Quran 12:86. This was not the cry of a broken man. It was the cry of a man who knew exactly where he belonged. And look at Maryam S., alone under a palm tree, trembling with pain, exhausted, frightened, overwhelmed. Her tears were not a sign of failure. They were a sign of purity. And Allah responded to her tears not with thunder or spectacle, but with a gentle stream beneath her and dates falling softly into her hands. Her tears unlocked mercy the world could not see. And then, our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the strongest human soul to ever walk this earth. He cried in the night until his beard was soaked and the ground beneath him became wet. He cried when reciting Quran. He cried for his ummah. He cried for you. Not because he was weak, but because his heart was so close to Allah that it could not remain still. A heart that never cries is not strong. A heart that cries only for people is not soft. But a heart that cries for Allah, that is a heart alive. The prophets cried because they recognized Allah's nearness in their pain. They cried because their faith was deep, not shallow. They cried because they trusted Allah enough to be vulnerable before Him. Their tears were worship, purity, and intimacy with the divine. So when your heart trembles, when your eyes fill, when your soul feels too tight to breathe, remember, you are not weak. You are walking the same path the best of humanity walked, a path paved with tears that brought them closer to their Lord. There is a moment in sujud that no human eye can witness, a moment where the world disappears and the soul rises to a place only Allah can see. Your forehead touches the ground, your body bends, your voice fades, and suddenly the heaviness in your chest begins to melt in a way you cannot explain. Sujud is the lowest position of the body, yet the highest station of the soul. It is the place where kings and beggars become equal, where the sinner and the scholar bow on the same earth, and where every mask you wear for the world falls away. In that sacred dust, your soul remembers where it came from and where it will return. And when tears fall in sujud, something extraordinary happens. Those tears are not ordinary drops of sadness. They are confessions. They are surrender. They are the soul speaking in its purest language. People might see you crying and think you are breaking, but the angels see you crying and witness you ascending. In that moment of prostration, your pain is no longer just pain. It becomes worship. Your sorrow becomes purification. What was breaking you becomes the very thing lifting you. A tear that falls in sujud is not lost. It does not sink into the carpet and disappear. It rises. It is carried upward by angels, recorded by the pen that never tires, treasured by the one who never forgets. Allah knows the exact weight of every tear you shed on the ground for His sake. And if you could see what happens beyond the veil, how the heavens respond when your face is pressed to the earth, your heart would never wish to rise again. Because in sujud, you are not a person drowning in sadness. You are a servant returning home. You are a soul touching a mercy this world cannot offer. You are a believer knocking on a door that never remains closed. Each tear in sujud is a step out of the dunya and into a realm of unseen peace. It is where your broken pieces begin to rearrange themselves in the hands of the one who created them. Not every sorrow shows itself through tears. Sometimes the heart becomes so tired, so drained, so overwhelmed that it cannot even cry anymore. You sit in silence, staring at nothing, feeling everything. You try to speak, but your voice disappears before reaching your lips. You try to pray, but the words feel stuck behind a wall of exhaustion. And somewhere inside you, a quiet fear whispers, if I can't cry, if I can't speak, does Allah still hear me? Yes, He does. More than you can ever imagine. Allah does not need your tears to understand your grief. He does not need your voice to hear your dua. Even the pain that sits silently inside your chest, the ache you cannot name, the heaviness that feels too old to explain, He knows it with a knowledge deeper than your own. Your silence is not a sign of distance. Your numbness is not a sign of weakness. Your inability to cry is not a sign that your heart has died. Sometimes, it is simply a sign that your heart has carried too much for too long. And Allah, Al-Rahman, sees that burden even when your eyes are dry. He counts the tears that never fell. He records the du'as you never managed to say. He witnesses the battles no one else knows you're fighting. When people look at you and think you're fine, Allah sees the storm simmering beneath your steady breath. When your lips remain still, Allah listens to the trembling of your soul. When your eyes stay dry, Allah reads the chapters of pain written inside your heartbeat. Because a believer's pain is never invisible to him, and the mercy of Allah is wider than the ocean of your silence. He accepts the teardrop that hesitates, the prayer that remains trapped in the chest, the sigh that escapes in the middle of the night. He accepts the moments you have nothing left to offer but your existence, weary, wounded, wordless. For Allah sees what others cannot, hears what others ignore, and understands what you cannot express. And sometimes, the quietest heartbreak is the loudest dua in the heavens. In the end, my beloved brothers and sisters, Every tear you shed, every silence you carry, every pain you hide has a place. And that place is with Allah alone. He is the one who transforms fear into strength, heaviness into light, and brokenness into closeness. When you cry to Him with sincerity, your pain becomes a pathway, your sorrow becomes purification, and your heart finds the peace it has been searching for. Never forget, Allah sees you, hears you, and awaits your return. Subscribe and leave a comment to show your gratitude to Allah.